Hey everyone, it's George on Blockchain DXB and today is the 10th of November 2022 and we have some really massive news to cover today. The first one being Binance is out from the deal with FTX, so they are no longer going to be acquiring FTX. The second and the massive news that is going to take place today is the CPI numbers are going to be out. So we're going to find out what the inflation numbers are. And one thing which I keep saying often is, guys, when you're looking at inflation numbers, make sure that you look at information from the first source. And the first source to look at information so far as inflation is concerned is the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. So it's so critical that you look at information only from Bureau of Labor Statistics. And the third news that I'm going to be discussing is that the red wave so far as midterm elections is concerned has met with some blue wall, and we're going to be discussing what could be the political implications on cryptocurrencies. Now, if you're in the cryptocurrency market, you should know by now that the global cryptocurrency market is in a bloodbath, and the global crypto market is gone down to $792 billion. So because of the FTX drama, over $200 billion has been wiped off from the global cryptocurrency market. And unfortunately, Bitcoin has taken a massive hit and it is below the $16,000 mark. Now guys, I'm looking at the price via coin market cap. But once we kickstart the episode, when we look at the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, DeFi and other protocols, what I tend to do is I take a compilation information from CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, Masari and quite a lot of other. So in today's episode, guys, we have quite a lot of things to uncover. And regarding UAE, we have two news. And the first news is to do with Dubai Mall and Mall of the Emirates. So they are going to be releasing the first ever NFT stores. So it's going to be an interesting concept. And SoftConstruct is the company behind that. So I'm going to be sharing my opinions and thoughts on that. And the second news is a massive event which is taking place in May of 2023. And this is called as the Dubai FinTech Summit. And this is organized by DIFC, that is Dubai International Financial Center. So definitely massive news and brilliant news for Dubai and UAE. And we'll be discussing where blockchain technology fits into this. So definitely brilliant news. And guys, listen, if you are in Dubai or UAE, Decrypt is proud to present a specially curated exhibition called Design in the Metaverse at the Dubai Design Week. And Dubai Design Week, held in strategic partnership with Dubai Design District 3, is the region's largest creative festival. It's truly going to be an immersive experience, exploring how metaverse technology is pushing the boundaries of design. The initiative is focused on showcasing brands and projects with compelling use cases and impact in design in the metaverse. So those exhibitions at Design in the Metaverse will be able to mark their presence globally and connect with global community to take their initiative forward from fashion, architecture, gaming to entertainment and arts. Every sector gets the opportunity to express their creativity, moving beyond the real and virtual world. So do one thing, guys. Follow Decrypt on the social media channel. Follow them on LinkedIn, follow them on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. All of the details are in the show notes below. And the same thing has been updated on Dubai Design Week's website, that is dubaidesignweek.ae. So look at the show notes. And if you are in Dubai and UAE and are trying to build something in Metaverse, this is an event that is an absolute must. And Richard Patel is definitely turning out to be a pioneering leader in the cryptocurrency, blockchain and metaverse space. Now let's kickstart today's episode. So welcome everyone, it's Aitim, you're in Dubai and you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover job news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and metaverse. And how this series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well. News that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and metaverse. This is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. And guys, tomorrow, that is Friday, we have an episode called Metaverse Everything, where we solely focus on metaverse. So please check out those episodes as well. And the format for Metaverse Everything podcast is completely different. And what I tend to do is I tend to publish a daily and weekly report via my LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn profile is in the show notes below. So guys, please follow me on LinkedIn. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, the 10th edition of the world-renowned flagship, that is Global Blockchain Congress by Agora Group, is taking place on November 23rd and 24th at Sofitel, Dubai, the Palm, and there will be more than 60 speakers, 150 investors, 30 sponsors, and these sponsors offer metaverse, gaming, NFTs, and DeFi projects looking to raise funds, 20 media partners, and more than 300 delegates. So listen guys, if you're a blockchain startup looking to raise funds, join Agora on this special edition on the Global Blockchain Congress and have a one-to-one meeting with pre-qualified investors. And this edition's main themes are digital assets regulations in the GCC, Web3 platforms, metaverse, gaming, and NFTs. Now remember guys, the spots are limited, so register online via the link in the show notes below, or go to Agora's LinkedIn page, or go to the website. All the details are in the show notes below. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called Rise in the Obstacle Course Race. And Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's talk about the bloodbath that is going on in the cryptocurrency world. Now, as of today, 10th of November, because of the collapse of FTX exchange, the global cryptocurrency market is down to $792 billion. So over $200 billion has been wiped off from the global cryptocurrency market. And unfortunately, this has got to do because of the FTX news. And yesterday, there was some drama that Binance is planning to acquire FTX. And if that deal would have gone through, probably the global cryptocurrency market would have seen an uptrend, but Binance has taken a step back and they are no longer pursuing on acquiring FTX exchange. Now, since the last 24 hours, it is down by 14.05%, and the total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is $183.56 billion. Now, since the last 24 hours, it is decreased by 12.39%. Now, these numbers might look good, but unfortunately, given the circumstances, these numbers are absolutely horrid and terrible. The total volume in DeFi is currently at $8.30 billion. Now guys, there's something messy going on in the DeFi world, because if you look at the volume of DeFi, the volume since the last 24 hours has increased, but the total value locked has gone down by almost $10 billion. So the total value locked as of today, 10th of November, is $43.41 billion. So I really am not sure if there are a couple of protocols that are connected either to FTX or Solana that have been completely wiped off. So if you are someone who is working on a DeFi protocol and are some way associated with Solana or FTX exchange, I would really recommend you to double check your assets. Now MakerDAO accounts for 14.9% with $6.47 billion locked. Now DeFi accounts for 4.52% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now guys, the biggest metric for today is the volume of stable coins. Now this number is ridiculously high, but it should not be surprising because usually whenever the cryptocurrency market falters, the volume in stable coins tend to go ridiculously high. Now this particular volume of stablecoin is resemblance to when El Salvador made Bitcoin a legal tender. Now if you listen to my podcast, I would have mentioned it quite often that the day when El Salvador made Bitcoin a legal tender officially, the price of Bitcoin went down by almost $8,000. The entire global cryptocurrency market collapsed, and at that point of time, the volume of stablecoins was roughly around $180 odd billion. Now today, 10th of November, the volume of stablecoins is at $175.79 billion. And guys, if you've been following the volume of stablecoins in 2022, or if you've been listening to my podcast, I mention these data every day. And on an average day, the volume of stablecoins used to hover somewhere between $40 to $50 billion. But today it is almost 4 times of a regular day in 2020. But guys, the volume of stablecoins going back to 2019, 2021 used to hover somewhere between $80 to $120 billion. But these numbers in 2022 is definitely an anomaly. But at least now we do have a reason as to why the volume has gone up. So it's kind of relevant. Now the volume of stablecoins is $175.79 billion, but Tether USDT accounts for $143.40 billion. And when I'm going to be talking about Sam Bankman-Fried, I'm also going to be touching base on Tether USDT because surprisingly he had to say some positive things about Bitfinex and Tether USDT, and I'm going to be sharing my opinions on why he is wrong. The volume of Circle's USDC has also gone up, and it is currently at $10.70 billion. But the biggest change so far as the volume of stablecoins is concerned is Binance USD's volume, and it has shot up to $20.07 billion. So one question, guys, which I've asked several times in the past, 3 to 5 years from now, which stablecoin will be leading the pack? Will it be Tether USDT? Will it be Circle's USDC? Or will it be Binance USD? Now look, guys, I'm not a fan of Tether USDT and Bitfinex, so there is a very high possibility, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen, that Tether USDT does turn out to be the black swan event for the cryptocurrency world. And if that thing happens, the impact would be absolutely devastating, probably 5 to 20 times more of FTX and Terra Luna's collapse combined. But I'm hoping that does not happen. Now going back to the volume of stablecoins, stablecoin accounts for 95.77% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And guys, one thing which I've been doing for last week is I'm going to be sharing the top 3 best performing assets and the top 3 worst performing assets since the last 24 hours. And this is no way any financial advice because a lot of them, to be honest, are shitcoins and a lot of them are pump and dump schemes. So the first one is Cube Network, which is up by 45.6%. The second one is called Petals, which is up by 12.10%. And the third one, which is up by 4%, is Whitebit. Now talking about the worst performing assets, it's no surprise that FTX is down by 58.40%, and Samyot Coin is down by 52.20%, and Marinade Stake Sol is down by 46.90%. And guys, I'm really curious to see how Solana reacts after the collapse of FTX exchange. So I'll very briefly try to touch base on that as well. Now look, the market share 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum is absolutely horrendous. Bitcoin's market share is at $303 billion. Now listen guys, when Bitcoin was at its all-time high earlier this year, the market share of only Bitcoin was $1.25 trillion. So it looks like almost $1 trillion has been wiped off only from Bitcoin this particular year. So $1 trillion has been wiped off only from Bitcoin's market share. So absolutely terrible year for Bitcoin, Bitcoin maximalists, and also for the cryptocurrency market in general as well. If you look at the market share of Ethereum, it is down to $134 billion, well below the 50% mark of Bitcoin's market share. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is at $102 billion, and Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $38.7 billion. So it looks like a lot of selling is going on so far as Bitcoin and Ethereum is concerned. Now, if you look at the dominance of Bitcoin is 38.30%, but Ethereum's dominance has gone down and it is down to 16.60%. Now, this week, guys, I'm also looking at the market cap of privacy coins, and yesterday I talked about surprisingly how Monero had one of the massive impact, and that trend has continued, and Monero's market cap is down to $2.17 billion. Zcash's market cap is $548 million, and Decred is at $283 million. Harmony is at $174 million, and Mask Network is at $161 million. So definitely terrible news for the privacy sector as well. Now let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. The price is down to $15,889, and since the last 24 hours it is down by 14.27%, and since the last 7 days it is down by 21.20%. Ethereum is on the verge of going below the $1,000 mark, and as of now it is at $1,099. Since the last 24 hours it is down by 17.57%, and since the last 7 days it is down by 27.71%. Now guys, surprisingly, Binance is at $266, because ideally Binance price should have gone up, but I'm really not sure what's going on with Binance coin, because Binance is looking extremely strong, but they were also in a position to help out FTX exchange. So really I'm not sure, and I don't get the understanding of why Binance coin is down, and it is down to 18.53%. And since the last 7 days, it is down by 16.87%. Another thing to remember, guys, when you're looking at Binance coin, when CZ did announce via Twitter that he's planning to acquire FTX exchange, the price of Binance coin shot up to almost $380 to $390, and it was on the verge of reaching a new all-time high. And ever since that time, the price has gone down. So I really am not sure, and I can't understand why that thing has happened. Irrespective of the deal not going through, the prices should have remained constant. But nonetheless, terrible news for Binance coin as well. And we're going to kickstart this episode by talking about Binance's no deal with FTX exchange. Now, CZ mentioned via Twitter that it is a sad day, but he did try to help acquire FTX exchange, but unfortunately, they could not go through the deal. Now, what I would recommend you to do is, guys, go to CZ's Twitter account, read through his Twitter threads for today and yesterday. It provides loads of information, and then go to Binance's tweet earlier today. They did actually clearly state that they have decided not to pursue the potential acquisition of FTX. And guys, in that tweet, they have already mentioned, given specific reasons as to why the deal did not go through. And what I would recommend you to do is read through that tweet, because it gives 5 specific reasons as to why the deal did not go through. Now, what people are doing is they are listening to mainstream media's news and then forming their own opinion. They are looking at crypto influencers on YouTube who tend to give their own opinion, and mainstream media. Rather than doing all those things, what I would really recommend you to do is go to CZ's Twitter account, go to Binance's Twitter account, and CZ has actually put out a letter which states reasons as to why the deal did not go through, and he's given 5 specific reasons. Now you can go to my LinkedIn profile. I've also put across the tweet so it becomes easier for you guys to go ahead and read through it, because if I were to read it, it'll take me at least 10 to 12 minutes, and I do feel it will just be a waste of time. But that being said, the deal is completely out, and looks like FTX exchange is in some trouble. And Bloomberg, guys, did report earlier today that Sam Bankman-Fried has warned FTX investors that the cryptocurrency exchange may be forced to file for bankruptcy if it doesn't get a cash infusion. So definitely terrible news for Sam Bankman-Fried, terrible news for the cryptocurrency industry as well. Now, what is really concerning and ironic is that Sam Bankman-Fried did have a debate a few days ago with Eric Voorhees, and this debate can be found on Unbanked podcast. So go to YouTube, guys, or go to any of the leading podcasting platforms, look up for Unbanked, and listen to the debate. The debate is well over 1 hour and 30 minutes long. But what is really ironic is that Sam Bankman-Fried did talk about regulations for DeFi, and he also talked about regulation and the fact that the audit needs to be open for stable coins. And he did actually state that he has support for Tether USDT and Bitfinex, which is so ironic. Because if you look at the transparency of Tether USDT, it is, if not one of the worst. And one thing, guys, which I've been echoing in my podcast is the biggest black swan event in the cryptocurrency world could be Tether USDT. And I mentioned numerous times in the past that the very first audit that Tether USDT showed was a pie diagram without giving any information. And early in the year, I also talked about how they have hired a new auditing firm from Italy to do the audit, and that auditing firm was heavily fined for showing fraudulent information. So guys, listen, if you're into Tether USDT, make sure you look at the transparency. Because one fine day, you might find out that Tether USDT is going belly up. And if that thing happens, the impact would be absolutely devastating, probably 10 to 20 times more of FTX and Terra Luna combined. Now, Circle USDC, on the other hand, their transparency is definitely much better. And Sam Bankman-Fried did say some good things about Circle USDC as well. Guys, listen to that podcast. And yesterday, guys, Simon Dixon also went live on LinkedIn, and he put up an excellent video talking about the FTX fall. And one thing which I did mention in yesterday's podcast as well, a beautiful thing that he actually mentioned was that what the people in the cryptocurrency world are doing is replicating things from the fiat currency about hard money, and we shouldn't be doing that. And Simon Dixon is one of the OGs in the Bitcoin space, and he did talk about Bitcoin even before Bitcoin was created. And I had the opportunity to meet Simon Dixon going back in 2016 when the price of Bitcoin was $140. And this was probably 2 weeks or a month before the halving, and we were discussing what would happen after the halving. And believe it or not, guys, at that point of time, we were discussing that maybe the price of Bitcoin could reach $200. And when someone said $200, we were thinking that that is outlandish. There is no way the price of Bitcoin could reach $200. Fast forward to 10th of November 2022, the price of Bitcoin is $15,000, and we are calling it the worst price of history in Bitcoin. So look at how times have changed. And guys, what I really recommend you to do is Simon Dixon has, if not one of the best YouTube videos explaining the different forms of money. So in his video, he explains the 6 forms of money. Definitely brilliant video. Now guys, some massive news that is going to take place today at 8:30 a.m. Gulf Standard Time is the CPI numbers, a consumer price index, which would indicate the inflation numbers. And one thing which I did mention at the beginning of the episode is to look at information directly from first source, that is Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, ironically, Bureau of Labor Statistics did publish some information via Twitter, and that talks about the labor forecast, and they actually said that the employment population ratio was 60% in October. Now, this seems to be great. And guys, listen, if you've been following Jerome Powell's video directly from first source, he has often said that since 2022, the labor demand has strongly outweighed the supply at the moment. And this point is purely with reference to recession. And guys, listen, what I'd really recommend you to do is when there is information regarding inflation, go to YouTube, listen to Jerome Powell's entire video. Because out of habit, what we tend to do is we tend to listen to crypto influencers, we listen to mainstream media, and often they are 80 to 90% incorrect. And one thing which I have mentioned in my past as well, that Jerome Powell was asked almost 8 times if the US is in recession, and every time he said no. And surprisingly, just 4 hours later, all mainstream media started publishing that US is heading towards recession. That's one of the reasons why I always say is it's not important to look at information from different sources. Rather, look at information from first source. Now, talking about the labor market, surprisingly, Meta or Facebook has decided to reduce the size of the team by about 13%, and they have decided to let go 11,000 people. Once again, guys, go to Facebook's official channel and read through that letter. It will give you detailed information. Now, in tomorrow's episode that is called Metaverse Everything, I'll definitely touch base on this. Because in the earnings call report, Meta or Facebook did actually say that they have increased the headcount by 32%. So you also need to keep that into mind, that they've increased the headcount by 32%, and now they have decided to release about 13% of the people. So again, in tomorrow's episode, I'll try to give out more information. So the big question, guys, for today is, with the inflation numbers that are going to be decided today, how will that affect inflation and how will that impact the midterm elections as well? Because I'm pretty much sure that midterm elections and inflations will also have an impact on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So it's going to be a really crucial week, especially the weekend, on how the cryptocurrency market reacts. And CNBC has stated that because of the midterm elections, Dow closes more than 600 points lower after indecisive midterm elections, and because of the crypto sell-off news as well. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 646.89 points, or about 1.95%, to 32,513.94, and the decline was led by none other than left-leaning company, the Walt Disney, which fell by 13.2%. So because of uncertainty with reference to the election results, it is having a massive impact on the price of cryptocurrencies as well. And guys, listen, CoinDesk has just recently released a podcast with the host called Nathaniel Whitmore, and they talk about what the US midterm elections lack of a red wave means for crypto. So definitely a good podcast. Now, I was under the impression that this midterm elections will be dominated by red wave. Now, the red wave is still there, but they are meeting some strong resistance from blue wall. Now, knowing the notorious history of left wing, it could be possible that there is some notorious activity going on in the elections as well. So once we find out the midterm election results, I'm pretty much sure it's going to be having a massive impact on cryptocurrency. And one thing which I've been saying is, generally speaking, Republicans or right-wing politicians are generally in favor of Bitcoin, open source, and blockchain technology. Now, what has happened is that a left-leaning media called as the Wall Street Journal has also taken a jab at left-leaning former multi-billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried, who was one of the year's biggest Democratic donors, who did suffer a very financial economic crisis on Tuesday. So go to Wall Street Journal and read through the article. So it looks like Sam Bankman-Fried is having a terrible year in 2022, both in the cryptocurrency world and in his political donation world as well. So definitely not ideal. But that thing being said, guys, I really hope that each and everyone who's affected by this are completely safe. And what I'm really curious to find out is, how will Solana be affected because of FTX exchange news? If you know Solana, guys, Sam Bankman-Fried is heavily invested in the centralized blockchain protocol called Solana. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of Solana because I do think that they make a lot of centralized decisions, such as stopping producing the block. And Anatoly Yakovenko did actually say at one point of time that if Bitcoin wants to be relevant, it needs to incorporate, or it needs to update a couple of things. And ever since he made that statement, Solana has been facing a lot of problems. They have decided to stop the block producing on so many occasions. And because of FTX exchange and because of customers being affected, I really am not sure what the legal requirements are, because Sam Bankman-Fried has a lot of investments in Solana blockchain. So legally, I'm not sure if he is required to sell the Solana blockchain in order to pay back the investors, which could probably have a massive impact on centralized blockchain that is Solana. So if you do have any comments or suggestions, mention that in the comments below. Now guys, let's talk about two news regarding UAE. But before we move on to two crypto and blockchain news regarding UAE, I have two news regarding obstacle course race in UAE. The first news is about Spartan Race, and they have a massive event in December, the World Championship, and this is the second time they have the World Championship event in Abu Dhabi. And guys, I have a standalone episode with Spartan Race founder Joe Cena talking about Spartan Race NFT. And Sean, who's the Chief Technology Officer, was also in the podcast, and Calvin, who's one of the OGs in the NFT space, was at the podcast as well. So we discussed from a business point of view, why did Spartan Race decide to go ahead and launch its NFT, what were the challenges, and quite a lot more. So please check out those episodes. It is a standalone episode talking more about NFTs and not so much regarding obstacle course race. And the second message is also about obstacle course race, and my favorite one, that is Tough Mudder. And listen guys, I'm on a mission to do my 100th Tough Mudder, so check both the messages now. The first message is from Spartan. Now Spartan is a global fitness brand with 10 million strong community. They create transformational events, experiences, products, and content to help people, companies, and team tear down boundaries and expand what they believe to be possible. From day one, nearly 2 decades ago, they've been champions of human transformation, and they live to help people get outside, eat healthy, and develop habits that lead to a life of constant progress. With families of brands, they push people from every corner of the globe outside the comfort zone and immerse them in a world of tough fitness and elite sports. Now, they do this because you can face and overcome adversity head on and your potential is limitless. Now, this year in December, in Abu Dhabi, the land of Gazelle, thousands of athletes and spectators will gather at the metropolis in the desert to compete for Spartan immortality. This is a unique opportunity to watch the world's best obstacle course race athletes compete for world championship and have your group conquer the course themselves. The massive event takes place from the 2nd till the 4th of December this year. Now, for Spartan World Championship, the ticket details and registration to the programs are mentioned in the links below. Now, if you are into running, if you are into adventure, and if you are in UAE, you definitely need to check this out. And the second news, guys, is about Tough Mudder. Now listen, guys, there are 3 things that I'm extremely passionate about. All 3 of them have some kind of similarity. That is heavy metal, Bitcoin, and obstacle course race. Now we've looked at the premier obstacle course race event, that is Spartan Race, which is taking place between the 2nd and 4th of December. But the next one that I'd like to discuss is Tough Mudder. Now, Tough Mudder is unique, and I did my very first obstacle course race, that was Tough Mudder. And Tough Mudder obstacles are more fun, more adventurous, and it involves a lot of teamwork. And you can also use my promo code, which is George25, for a 25% discount. Now, if you are into running, if you are into adventure, if you are into obstacle course race, you definitely need to sign up for this event. So go to the website toughmudderarabia.com, and you can also follow them on Instagram. The Instagram handle is toughmudderarabia. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's look at the first news from UAE, and they plan to open the first ever NFT store in Dubai, and the news is published by gulfbusiness.com. So what gulfbusiness.com put up an article which states that SoftConstruct opens NFT stores in Dubai, and SoftConstruct has announced the opening of 2 physical NFT art stores in Dubai. So let me try to give you some more information, because this is connected to FastX ecosystem, and FastX ecosystem, powered by Soft, has pulled off the NFT art physical store strategy in Dubai with signature style branding with a visionary concept behind it. And FastX is a Web 3.0 driven ecosystem endorsed by the leading tech giants SoftConstruct. So listen, guys, now unfortunately, guys, I could not get the information for SoftConstruct, but if you want to find out more information about FastX, go to fastx.com. Now the stores will supply limited edition offers and other merchandise by artists in Dubai Mall and the Mall of Emirates. And guys, on Friday I'm going to be going to Dubai Mall, so hopefully I might be able to check it out, but this product is not ready yet. Now let me give you some more information about what FastX is. They buy and sell crypto, and they also have a token called as Fast Token, and the token that constructs possibilities. So Fast Token, or FTN, is an ERC20 Ethereum based cryptocurrency and the utility token for the FastX blockchain ecosystem. And FTN, that is its token, is the official cryptocurrency of FastX ecosystem and the native token of FastX chain developed and curated by leading tech giants SoftConstruct. And with SoftConstruct's vast network, over 1 million active users and 700 partners all over the globe, FTN will have numerous real-world use cases from day one, implying high organic growth. Now, if you have so many users, I do think that this is built for success, and this particular project is also built on Ethereum. So Fast Token recently passed an audit of its ERC20 and smart contract distribution from 2 third-party auditors, that is Hexense and Certic, and the smart contract audit ensures the proper operability and correct distribution of the token in the future. Now let me try to give some more information, because it was really hard to get information from their website. So SoftConstruct officially announced the opening of 2 physical NFT stores in Dubai, offering exclusive real-life NFT experience. So the NFT stores are designed to leave plenty of space for people to interact with the technology and actual art. And FTNFT uses a fraction of its stores to sell genuine art products, offering advancements in sustainable design and a team of qualified specialists to assist with discovery, engagement, and delivery, making the buying process smooth and effortless. So FTNFT stores are designed based not on product divisions, but on what they call as hubs, and a large part of the store is dedicated to letting people learn about Web 3.0, NFT products, and services offered on the spot to try it out, and you can also ask any questions at Fast Desk. So the idea is similar to a concierge service at a nice hotel, and this has been designed to provide face-to-face support for customers from professionally specially trained and certified by Soft. So it looks like they're taking a reverse approach, because when you talk about NFTs and when you talk about virtual world, it is nothing to do with face-to-face support, but the fact that they're doing that in two malls, that is in Dubai and Mall of Emirates, I do think that it is an absolutely brilliant idea, because there are so many visitors visiting Dubai Mall and Mall of the Emirates, and having an NFT and educating people and face-to-face interactions, I definitely think there is a massive room for success. Now, SoftConstruct did officially announce the opening of 2 physical stores, but the official opening date is not announced yet, and they are ready to experience Web3 coming to life in NFT stores opening in 2 malls, that is Dubai Mall and Mall of the Emirates. Now, one thing to note is that all NFTs will be sold as NFT stores, are pieces of art and not in digital representation of value that may be digitally traded, transferred, or used as an exchange or payment tool for any investment purposes. So it looks like you will be getting a physical product. Now, they cannot be digitally offered and traded through a virtual asset platform. So this begs this question: can it be sold in the secondary market? I definitely do not think so. But nonetheless, a pretty cool concept. I really am not sure if this thing merges well with Web 3.0 though, because what you can do is you can have physical products, you can have a hash associated with that physical product and then trade it on secondary market, but looks like they're choosing not to do that. But nonetheless, definitely a great idea and great product, and they're utilizing the whole hype of Web 3.0, so definitely brilliant news. Now the second news, guys, which I'm going to be talking about is a massive event which is taking place between the 8th and 9th of May in Medina, Jumeirah, Dubai, called as the Dubai FinTech Summit, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Deputy Ruler of Dubai, Deputy Prime Minister and Ministry of Finance of the UAE, and President of DIFC, that is Dubai International Finance Center, announced the launch of Dubai FinTech Summit, which is a global event that will bring together more than 5,000 experts, thought leaders, policy makers and decision makers in Dubai to discuss how they can shape a new wave of innovation, enterprise and growth for the international financial industry. This might just be the biggest event in 2023, and this event is set to be organized by DIFC, that is Dubai International Finance Center, and the Dubai FinTech Summit will take place at Medina, Jumeirah, an absolutely brilliant location between the 8th and 9th of May 2023. And the event will see some of the world's biggest personalities in the industry delivering keynote presentations, sharing their perspectives on industry challenges and identifying opportunities to maximize the impact of fintech for people, businesses and economies. And the summit is focused on generating tangible outcomes, including reports, strategies and action plans that can help chart the way forward for the financial services industry. And guys, the events program will feature in-depth discussion across key tracks including the future of fintech, embedded and open finance, sustainability, Web 3.0 and digital assets. And the summit will also provide an opportunity for more than 100 fintechs and future of finance players to display the latest technologies and innovation. And the Dubai FinTech Summit marks the first time the UAE and Dubai will host a global fintech event on this scale and size. And the event builds on the success of DIFC FinTech Week hosted in June 2022, which saw more than 1,500 fintech innovators, investment firms, banks, policymakers, and service providers in the region discussing drivers of growth in financial services. So the Dubai FinTech Summit is organized by DIFC and managed by Trescon Group, which is a global business events and consulting firm. So guys, the core areas of the Dubai FinTech Summit is fintech, blockchain, and solution categories. And the theme of the event is focusing on future fintech, embedded in open finance, digital banking, smart payment, sustainability, and quite a lot more. What I'd really recommend you guys to do is go to the website, that is Dubai FinTech Summit. There are loads of useful information, and if you are into the fintech industry, if you are into the whole Web 3.0 movement, if you're into blockchain, this is definitely a must event. Because if you go through the website, it does provide some real valuable information, because you're going to be having loads of discussion on institutional investment in digital assets. You're also going to be discussing by the year 2030 what's next for Bitcoin and digital assets. And they're going to be discussing the evolution and challenges of digital assets. They're going to be severely having a conversation on stable coins, central bank digital currencies, and cross-border payments, and an overview of the future of international monetary system. They're going to be discussing blockchain, particularly so far as interoperability is concerned, and the cross-chain future, and quite a lot more. And the metaverse movement, they're going to be talking about Web3 and the inevitability of NFTs. There's going to be a massive discussion on DeFi and crypto, and they're going to be discussing the bridge to the future of finance, the disruptive power of blockchain on the insurance industry, blockchain application in insurance, and a massive discussion on smart contracts for financial accessibility and user benefits on the world of DeFi. So this is a definitely must event, and I do feel, guys, that this might just be one of the biggest events in 2023. And they're also going to be discussing the disruption of wealth management between humans versus robots. So it's going to be really cool and spooky at the same time. And the general theme of discussion will be looking forward towards a broader virtual asset management ecosystem in the UAE. So definitely a must event. So the website is DubaiFintechSummit.ae. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 on Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And this is followed by 2 news and information related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series. And I have a question by Sasha who asks, what are your thoughts on FTX exchange and the whole drama that is going on? Now, Sasha, to be completely honest, I have never been a fan of FTX exchange, and this goes back to the time when Solana was making a lot of headway and news in the mainstream media. Now, at that point of time, when I did research about Solana, I did identify that the reason why Solana blockchain did go up in price was only because of Sam Bankman-Fried. And if you've been listening to my podcast, historically, I've always called Solana as a centralized blockchain, and I did look at Sam Bankman-Fried, and I've listened to pretty much all of the interviews that he said, and the core theme that I did identify is that he's not necessarily the right advocate for Bitcoin and open blockchain and cryptocurrency in general. And few months ago, rather earlier in the year, he did talk about having some heavy donation for left-leaning Joe Biden. And this is an area, where politics and cryptocurrencies should be kept aside. And he did actually talk about regulations, and I was wondering, why is he talking about that way? So personally, I am not a fan of FTX exchange. That being said, it does not mean that FTX exchange is bad. Now, if you look at the positive sides of FTX exchange, they do have a lot of volume, but in terms of the dollar amount, it's ridiculously low. Another thing that you need to know is Sasha, and this is to do with DeFi. And interestingly, yesterday someone posted that the total value locked in DeFi is roughly $250 billion, and I immediately sent him a reply stating where did he get that numbers from, and he did edit it and change it to $40 billion. But what happened, Sasha? Earlier in January, the total value locked in DeFi was $242 billion. But fast forward, that has gone down. But there were reports which stated that the reason why the total value locked was so high in the first place was because of people from Solana blockchain who were trying to manipulate the data, and they were adding the numbers twice or even 3 times, and that's one of the reasons why the volume in Solana blockchain did actually go up. Now, I'm not saying that Sam Bankman-Fried has anything to do with that. He might have just liked Solana blockchain protocol, bought the cryptocurrencies and kept it aside. It has nothing to do with Solana blockchain. That is very highly plausible as well. But the fact that he's associated with the FTX exchange, and because of all this drama, that's where things gets connected. And I'm trying to probably connect it for no reason as well. But other than that, personally, I'm not a fan of FTX exchange. And strangely, Sasha, just 3 days ago, I was supposed to cover a news about FTX exchange that they have officially got a license from UAE and they're supposed to be one of the first ones. But I did not cover that news. Now, really, I'm not sure if that news is still relevant. It depends on what the standing of FTX exchange is. If that license is no longer valid or if that license is still there. And if somehow, some way, Sam Bankman-Fried manages to pull this thing off and he does get investments who are willing to take the risk and help FTX exchange, then it could be possible that FTX exchange does come back. Now, I'm not taking a jab of FTX exchange. If you look at Amazon, their share prices have gone down well below 90% at one point of time. So it could be possible that FTX exchange could make a comeback as well. And to say something positive about Sam Bankman-Fried, and this is, let's say, in comparison to Do Kwon, at least he has not been as arrogant in talking to people, let's say, to Do Kwon, because if you look at some of the interviews that Do Kwon has given and some of the tweets that Do Kwon has given, in keeping that in mind, Sam Bankman-Fried is relatively calm and he's generally been nice to people. And Sasha, Kevin O'Leary, who's a Canadian and he's also a citizen of UAE, he recently had an interview and he actually talked nice things about Sam Bankman-Fried. But one thing which I did not like is that he said that Sam Bankman-Fried is politically affiliated with quite a lot of people. And even Kevin O'Leary, for some odd reason, he wants to get regulations into the cryptocurrency space, which I don't think is ideal. Now look, the whole reason why Bitcoin is created is to have a separation of money and the state, and we always need to keep that thing in mind. And Kevin O'Leary, at the beginning when Bitcoin was announced, he was a massive detractor, but now he's an advocate of Bitcoin, but because at the end of the day, he's just looking at his own benefits. Now, keeping all these things in mind, I still do not like FTX exchange as a protocol. And one thing which I did mention, Sasha, in today's episode as well, it's so critical that we always reflect on the second line of Bitcoin white paper. That is, the main benefits are lost if a third party is still required to prevent double spending. And this goes back to us having the onus of having your keys for your crypto. So other than that, I have nothing personal against him. And the fact that, he's politically aligned to the left-leaning media is definitely not ideal, especially if you are in a cryptocurrency world. But other than that, I do hope that investors and people who are affected by FTX exchange somehow, some way do find some comfort and do get some kind of a financial backing as well. And I do hope that everyone affected is physically, mentally, and financially safe as well. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee update from Blockchain DXB. And in case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series that you're listening to right now, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. And tomorrow, guys, I have an episode called Metaverse Everything, where we cover everything regarding Metaverse. So please check out those episodes as well. Thanks so much for listening and have a nice one. Bye-bye.